And we're live on YouTube. Hi, I'm Dax Carlisle from the Tarot Guild, celebrating 20 years, and Psychic Cafe, our new website for the Tarot Guild. It's actually not that new, but it's still pretty new, especially 20 years later. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Psychic Cafe. Come on in, grab your coffee or tea, pull up a chair. Let's hang out. Yeah. So I'm flying solo today. Michelle has an appointment. Haven't heard from Pamela. Rose is busy with mom. So everybody, all the hosts are busy. So as I was saying in the chat before the show started, talking with Jimmy, Green Earth Creations. Yeah, it's just us roosters today. But come on in. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about how to get stubborn tarot reading clients to listen to you. Yes, it's crazy. We're going to be talking about that on the show today. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. If you don't have a specific question, just ask for a message from the universe. We'll pull some cards for you. It's just me and Jimmy in the chat right now. Really quiet, but the show just started. So hopefully YouTube is notifying everybody that we are live and they'll be popping in here. So before we get to the topic, let's do the card of the day. Um, Actually, before the card of the day, I got something special. Jimmy had asked a question a few shows ago, and different host was doing the show. I think it was on Michelle's show. She answered him. I pulled some cards, and I never got to pass it on to Jimmy, and Jimmy is here in the chat. So I'm going to put up his reading. I saved it. He was asking about quitting smoking. And Jimmy, I forget exactly how you asked it. If you want to put that back in the chat, go ahead. What your exact question was, even, if you even remember it. I mean, this was a couple of shows ago, and I've been meaning to get to this, but haven't found the time because we got into our topics and readings and things like that on the current show and never got to Jimmy. So I figured, hey, we'll get it out of the way in the beginning of the show so I don't forget and another week doesn't have to go by. So here's Jimmy's reading. Here's what came up. I pulled five cards like I often do. And so Jimmy's asking about, how can he quit smoking? Oh, Patrick came in. Hi, Patrick. Um, the it's really interesting because the reading is bookended with two major arcana cards. So this is significant, right? The very first card is the Lover's card. And of course, we jump to the love and romance possible meanings for that card, but originally it was a card of choice. And that's basically what these cards are showing us. You'll see as we get further into it. It's talking about a choice, Jimmy. Okay. And being a major arcana card, it's a big choice. But tarot's multi-layered. So there is the love aspect. It's the self-love. This question is about doing something that is self-love. Oh, Dr. Rose came in. The Mystic Tarot Path by Dr. Rose. Welcome on in. And Jimmy said guidance. Yes. And so the next card is really interesting. Seven of Swords, which is usually about something sneaky going on. This guy is making off with a bunch of swords. Swords are thoughts and ideas. And these are a lot of thoughts. So you're having a lot of thoughts about this, but it's also, thoughts that are hidden. And that's exactly what's going on when we're talking about smoking. People talk about the addiction to nicotine and so forth. This is not like being addicted to heroin. If you were addicted to heroin, you wouldn't be able to sleep through the night. If it was the same, as heroin, which you see you see the ads on TV and things, and they're like, oh, it's the most addictive thing next to heroin. It's like, no, it's not. I've been working with smokers for years, and the chemical nicotine is out of your system in 72 hours, and within 5 to 7 days, depending on the person, you have no effects. There's no withdrawals anymore from the chemical itself. Nicotine itself is unless you have a heart condition, it's not really bad for you. It raises your blood pressure a teeny bit. It may raise the number of beats per minute with your heart a couple. And then it starts to fade away over the next 35 minutes to 60 minutes. And then it's drained out. And that's why we have the craving for the next cigarette. It's not that you're lighting the cigarette and it's going to uh, make you feel better, um, make you feel calmer. It's the other way around. We're putting this chemical in that's a stimulant. And as it fades out, we rub the butt out, we extinguish the cigarette, and then over the next 35 minutes to an hour, it's fading out of your bloodstream, and it's causing the negative feelings that you're having. And so you light up again, and it takes that away. And then you extinguish the cigarette, and the cycle continues. Um, Different people smoke at different rates. Might be a pack a day, might be 2 packs a day, 2.5, 3 packs a day. Some people smoke 4 packs a day, but the average is right in that 1.5 packs to 2 packs, but mostly one and a half. What are we talking about? We're talking about 20 to 30. And if you look at the number of hours in the day and your frequency of smoking, that's why most people smoke at that rate on average, because it's the chemical leaving your bloodstream, and then you light up again, and then it fades out, and then you light up again, and it fades out, and you light up again. And it's not that you're addicted to the chemical, because if you stop smoking, you don't light one up, it's going to go out of your system. So what's left? It's the habit. It's 95% habit and only 5% chemical addiction. And that's what this Seven of Swords is talking about. The next card is the Queen of Pentacles, which I call the mom card. Notice how she's holding the pentacle lovingly, sitting on her throne, as if it was a child. It's one of the nurturer cards. And so what this is saying, Jimmy, is, and this is the main focus card. This is the card in the middle. And it's it's nurturing yourself. It goes along with the Lover's card and the love yourself theme. So what to do about it? Well, the very next card, Two of Swords, again brings the choice back in. So what should you do? Well, take the blindfolds off. Realize, and again, it's another swords card, thoughts and ideas. Realize, Seven of Swords, it's all in your head. It's all a habit. And you have these programs running in your subconscious mind, and you're not aware of it. And that's what the Seven of Swords is. The Two of Swords is saying you have a choice here to make, right? You can continue on the path you're on. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to take the blindfold off, and I want you to look at both paths. You can continue on the path you're on now, and it's going to lead to knowable conclusions, right? your health's going to decline, and people die from smoking. They get horrible lung diseases and so forth. Not only that, if you need something, you know, see, the thing about this that's so difficult is that, especially for young people that start smoking, they're not going to see the effects for decades, right? But there's the monetary aspect. Most people are spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, sometimes several $100s a month on this nasty habit, right? So if you continue down this path, you're going to continue to burn money and destroy your health. So what's the other path? Okay, you stop smoking. They say, over time, there's so many uh benefits, and a lot of smokers, I forget what the exact statistic is, 5 or 10 years down the road, it's close to baseline, as if you hadn't smoked, not exactly like somebody that's never smoked, but your risk of COPD, your risk of cancers and so forth, drops dramatically, and your health's going to get better. You're going to be able to breathe better. You're going to be able to make it up those steps, right? And you can start doing, you can replace this habit with healthy things, physical exercise and eating better. And the number one thing, drinking water. Drinking water. I'll talk about that in a second, but I want you to look at these two paths and maybe take a piece of paper and write down all, the consequences and the benefits on each side, right? You're going to have more time with your family and friends, and you're going to save a lot of money. That's my favorite one. um but you have to know why you want to quit. It's all about the why. You can't say, I want to quit smoking. That's a desire. It's the same thing with, we talk about this with the law of attraction. $1 million might be nice, but that's not what you really want. You want what it's going to buy. So it's really difficult to, get in alignment with the law of attraction and attract in money, because it's just an exchange of energy. You have to have a goal. And so, in looking at these two paths with the Two of Swords that you could be going down, you know, put a line down the middle of the paper and write the consequences on one side. What's your life going to be like if you continue down the path you're on now, continuing smoking, or if you stop smoking and, more importantly, become a non-smoker? There is a difference, by the way. What are all the benefits going to be? And you got to find the emotional connection to what these goals are that are going to be the reasons that you're able to become a non-smoker. So that's the Two of Swords. And then book ended at the other end with another major arcana card, the Hermit card, you know, uh, seeking your own internal wisdom, but also maybe seeking out a mentor, somebody that's a quit smoking coach to help you through this and through this path. And maybe someone that's a hypnosis practitioner, neurolinguistic practitioner, NLP, but especially if they specialize in quitting smoking. So I said there's a big difference between becoming a non-smoker and stopping smoking. If you stop smoking, remember, you stop smoking every time you put the butt out until you light the next one up. So if you put the butt out and you don't light up again, okay, 6 months from now, 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, you're still an ex-smoker, not a non-smoker. Okay. Non-smokers don't get cravings. Ex-smokers do. So even 6 months down the line, or 6 years down the line or a year down the line, there's that possibility, okay, of that coming back in. But if you work with someone and do some hypnosis and change your subconscious programming, when we're talking about smoking with the habit and what you're actually doing, it's something physical. I think you mentioned in the chat, it's the tactile habit, and that's the main thing for, most of us that ever smoked. And but it's at the level of your actions. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. My mind is blanking right at the moment, but it's at that lower level, whereas identity trumps all of that, and it's about switching your identity from smoker to non-smoker. Anyway, I hope that helps you out, and I hope you can get some advice from this, and good luck with this, because um, I, I know it seems tough, but in reality, it's not that hard. It, we have ways of changing your subconscious patterns and programming, and who funds these studies. And when people say, doctors even, say, it's as bad as heroin, it's like they want you to think it's that hard so that you don't think you can do this. But I'm here to tell you that hundreds of thousands, millions of people quit every year. you know in fact, the percentage of smokers versus non-smokers in the United States has dropped like a rock from the 1970s till now, down to like about 14%. I mean, that's still what, uh 35, 40 million people, 45 million people that are still smoking in the United States. Worldwide, it's much, much higher than that, because we've had um the campaigns and so forth, and it's become a social negative now, where it used to be oh, you're cool if you're smoking a cigarette, right? Awesome sauce. Who else came into the chat? Anybody else? Oh, Michelle popped in. Sorry, I'm not on today, but I made it to chat. I'm glad you made it into the chat there, Michelle. That's so cool. And we've got Dr. Rose and Jimmy, and where was the other one that popped in earlier? That was Patrick. So if anybody has any questions, you have a specific question, you don't have to ask for the reading. You don't have to ask to get on. There's no list. Just go ahead and type in your question. If you don't have a specific question, you can always ask for a message from the universe. That's right. So next, we're going to go into the card of the day. And pay attention, Jimmy, because for the card of the day, I got the Hierophant. And this is a really interesting synchronicity because it fits in with Jimmy's reading that I just did. See, the Hierophant card generally signifies traditional wisdom, spiritual guidance, and structured learning. It can represent mentorship, adherence to established systems, and a connection to religious or spiritual heritage. At the other end of the spectrum, the card can indicate a need to question authority, explore unconventional paths, and trust your own inner wisdom. So, those of you out there listening, whether you're listening live or 2 days from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now, this message is for you. And you need to look at those different possibilities that I just gave you, and which one fits your situation currently at this moment. Okay. So that's the card of the day. And I think it, dovetails nicely into Jimmy's reading, especially the Hermit, very similar card with the Hierophant about mentorship, getting help. Don't be afraid to get help. All righty. So I don't see any questions in the chat yet. This may be a very short show because I'm here by myself, and usually there's at least two or three other people. There's two or three of us talking, and I'm getting everybody's opinion. And what did you say, Jimmy? CRT. I don't know what you meant by CRT. Maybe I'm just blanking that. Let me know in the chat. Okay, so the topic today, very interesting topic because a lot of us go through this. How to get stubborn tarot reading clients to listen to you. See, that's the thing. First of all, first bit of advice, don't take anything personally when you're doing readings for people. These people come in with their preconceived notions. The clients might be looking for specific answers. That's why they'll go to a dozen psychics online or tarot readers and try to get the answer they want. And one way you can kind of nip it in the bud right away is to let your clients know the type of reader you are right off the bat before you even get into it. Even if you have to give them a refund, because it's better than trying to give them information and they're just not open to it. Right. So yeah, there's still fortune telling type readers out there, but the majority of us are more life coaches these days. In fact, I always tell all of our Tarot Guild members to take a life coaching course, go on Udemy or somewhere else. I've got links to a few different ones that you can check out, and all the ones on Udemy are pretty good. I've checked out a bunch of them, and they're very inexpensive. Take a life coaching course so you have that foundation for your reading modality or psychic advisor modality. And, because we are life coaches, we are trying to give our clients options, not tell them what to do. But some of these stubborn clients, they're coming in expecting you to tell them what to do. So you have to make that clear in the beginning. Also, don't placate your clients. Don't sugarcoat things. There's a big tendency in our field to do that. What do they want to hear? And just tell them what they want to hear. Ellie's here. Oh my God, lots of hearts. Lots of hearts popping up. Ellie, the Moonchild. Hey, all. Thanks for joining us. Wow, the gang's all here, but everybody's in chat. Nobody's up here on camera with me. I haven't done this in a while, if you haven't noticed. So it's always nice to have a sounding board to bounce things off of other hosts. Yeah. But we're muddling through. Half hour in now, folks. Another thing you can do with stubborn clients, even before you find out that they're a stubborn client, is to enter into a conversation with them right away. And as you go through the reading, or if you're one of those readers that, lays the cards out, big giant, maybe a Celtic cross, you go through the entire reading and then enter into a conversation. That's fine too. Or if you're read as you go along, pull cards as you go along, as questions are asked and you pull cards. That's the kind of reader I am. Have a conversation with them. What are they expecting out of the reading? And when you get into their questions or question and they ask the question, ask them about that. What's happened in that situation so far, and what do they really want to know? So they asked a question, but typically, a lot of times when they ask a question, the first thing they ask is not really the burning question. And so you need to dig in there and ask some question. And if they come up with comments that are not empowering in NLP and life coaching, we ask questions that diffuse that and bring it back. For instance, just simply saying, when did you first decide that? Because often it's a limiting belief. It might not even be their belief. It might be something that they were given in childhood by their mom and dad or teachers or clergy or something like that, right? So have a conversation, find out what they're expecting out of the reading. Okay. And another hint, never read for a person in crisis. And that includes you as the reader as well as the client. If you're not feeling well, if you're not emotionally, a lot of us, and we've talked about that on other shows, rituals that we can go through and so forth. And we've talked about NLP techniques like the circle of excellence, stepping into the circle of excellence before we start a reading, um, you know, shuffling our deck and, knocking the old energy out. Some people sage, some people use crystals, um, all different manners of that. And you have to get into the headspace. And that's why we always say that, do your readings in, like, I have my office and I have my desk here and my computer. 98% of all the readings I'm doing are, telecommunications. They're over Zoom, they're or through email. They're not in-person readings, so I have the same place. And maybe for in-person readings, it's that same restaurant, that same bar, that same coffee house, and you tend to sit at that same table. So you have a similar familiarity, and it's a disconnect between your regular life and now I'm in reading mode, right? Okay. But if you've done all that and you still are emotionally not in the right place or mentally not in the right place, you got things going on, there's been a crisis, whatever, reschedule. Okay. Same thing with the client. Maybe they need a few days buffer before you get into this. They need to be clear headed. They need to be focused on what you're trying to tell them. And, when we talk about the topic today of how to deal with stubborn clients, how to get them to listen to you, maybe they're not ready to listen. Maybe there needs to be a buffer. And let's see, Dr. Rose says, what do you consider to be a crisis? Well, often when people come to us for readings, something major's happened. Health crisis, relationship breakup. They just got in a major car accident. They just lost their job. There's a lot of different possible crises. Trying to see what else folks are saying in chat here. What about a contract for the constant same client? I'm not sure what you're saying there, Michelle, but I think I get it. Like, make a contract that, and that's actually a point later in my notes that I was going to mention, is setting boundaries. And one of the boundaries that's big is you don't let the same client book day after day or every 2 days or every 3 or 4 days. A couple of weeks needs to go by, or at least a week, right? And so you can set a contract with the same constant client, and you're going to meet at certain times. But what I'm saying, getting back to the crisis thing is, what's going on in their life, and it's hard. It's hard because that's a lot of the times when they come to readers is they're in crisis, and there might not be any way around it. But if there is a way to, hey, let's delay this for 3 days, it just happened, and they get on the phone with you and it's Tuesday, and they're crying and they're all shaken up over something. It's like, okay, let's reschedule for Friday. And, ground yourself, do some meditation, do some journaling, get in your water, go for a swim, take a shower, and get into the right emotional and mental space before doing the actual reading. And as I said, I'll repeat it again, because we don't do this ourselves, our own self-care. Make sure you're in the right mental and emotional and spiritual space when you go into a reading with a client. Another thing you can do is switch it up. So you have this stubborn client, they're not listening to you. Change the way you do the reading. Pull some extra cards. And again, get back into that conversation. Make the client part of the whole process. And, give them some open-ended ideas and questions, and then see what they want to know and what questions come back, and pull more cards. Maybe you're the kind of reader that you do the Celtic cross, you go through the whole thing, and that's it. Well, maybe with a client that's not listening to what you're saying, you need to change things up. Have that conversation, find out what they're expecting, pull more cards, right? And then now we're going to get to when you've done all that and they're still stubborn and they're still not listening to you. Okay. Which actually might happen in the very beginning when you have that conversation, ask them what they're expecting, and right away it's not going to work. But sometimes you've gone through, you've done the reading, you've had the conversations, you've changed things up. Okay. The way to deal with it is to because why are they being stubborn? Why are they not listening to you? Because they're expecting a certain outcome, or they're expecting to be told a certain thing, or they want to sugarcoat it, right? And what that's doing is that's putting it on you as the reader or the psychic advisor. So what you can do to combat that is to put it back on them. And the way you do that is you give them 3 paths. So already in pulling cards and doing the reading, you may have already identified a path that they really don't want to go down, or that you recommend they don't go down, or, more negative. Okay. But guess what? You still give them that path. And then you give them 2 other alternatives. This is what's coming up in the card. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't have a specific example off the top of my head, but something like, if you go down this path, this is what's going to happen. I don't think you want that. Do you want that? Okay, here's 2 other things. The cards say you can go down this path and this will probably happen, or go down this path and this will probably happen. And then you put all the choice back on them. They decide what path to go down. So that's another way to diffuse the situation, to put it back on the stubborn client, the client that's not listening to you. So if it gets really bad, don't be afraid to stop the reading. This is something that we almost never talk about. Just stop the reading. Explain to them that I've been giving you the information that I'm getting. This is what I'm getting. You don't seem to be getting it or hearing what I'm saying. So maybe I'm not the right reader for you. Just give them a refund. Don't be afraid to stop the reading. Don't be afraid to give a refund, right? You shouldn't be afraid to, um, maybe you have friends in the industry, that you can recommend. And, don't be afraid to send a client to somebody else. So as a hypnotherapist, if I'm, approached by a client, or I get into a session with a client, find out that, what's really going on is something else. And I don't specialize in that. And I don't think I'm really going to be able to help them really well. I'll, I'll give a recommendation to another therapist. And yeah, I'll even issue a refund, because it's better that they get the help they need. And if they're one of these people that they want that specific answer, well, let them go get that with, Miss Cleo on some phone line or something like that. Not you as a professional life coach, tarot advisor, right? So don't be afraid to stop the reading. Don't be afraid to give a refund. Okay. So there's some ideas on how to deal with clients that are stubborn, that are just not going to listen to you. And hopefully you can turn that around by doing what I said in the early part about doing a conversation and ask them what they're expecting, and try to get it narrowed down to questions that you're going to be able to help them with. But the main way out is that 3-path idea. Tell them what you're seeing, give them the options, the 3 paths, and then end the reading and let them make the choice. Now, what do you do after all of this? Okay. How to move on. So you're done with the reading. Okay. One of the first things is, I talked about getting into that reading space, and you have a physical space, but also your mental, emotional, spiritual space that you get into. Now you need to get out of that. Yes. So first thing is put down your deck. You turned off the Zoom, you put down your deck, get out of that room. In fact, go outside if you can and walk around, you know, and all the other things that I said earlier, like, so leave your reading space, seek out water, sit by the water, go swimming, take a shower, get grounded, put take your shoes off, put your feet in the grass, or maybe, where I live, more like sand anyway. If you're in the desert, right? Put your feet in the water, you know, take an Epsom salt bath, or, lavender, light the candles, whatever. Journal, do some journaling. Maybe there's some other grounding things that you do. People bring out the crystals and put on specific crystal jewelry and things like that. Talk to a friend. Now, of course, you're not going to break the, you know, uh, client reader, um, what do the doctors call it? My mind just blanked, patient client privilege, or with the lawyers, you're not going to, break the confidence. You're not going to give them specifics, things like that. But maybe you just need to vent and talk to somebody. That's a good idea too after a reading. But remember to get out of the space because that's where the energy is. And then you might want to clear the space if you're in energy, feng shui, or you're into pulling out the crystals, lighting a candle, saging, so forth, like that. Uh, and then hit the, and that's how you hit the reset button on everything. Another thing, though, is you can send the recording to the client. If they weren't willing to listen to you, and this kind of goes back to, is the person in crisis? Are they emotionally or spiritually or mentally not in the right frame to hear what you have to say? you know if you can't move the reading, just do the reading, record the reading, and then afterwards email them the recording or the link, to the reading. And then if they watch it the next day and maybe the day after, or maybe they wait to the end of the week to rewatch it, maybe they will, listen more to what you have to say. Dr. Rose says, I agree. The responsibility is on the client to choose. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, we always talk about using other modalities and learning other modalities to help you. Learning emotional freedom techniques, learn tapping, where you're doing the tapping, learn some NLP techniques and hypnosis. And, you can do conversational hypnosis without having to put them in a formal trance right in the middle of a reading. It's conversational. Same thing with NLP techniques. A lot of NLP techniques take 5 minutes, and so by learning how to do EFT and to take them through an EFT tapping routine, and by learning some NLP techniques and some conversational hypnosis, or at least one of those modalities, then if you do have a problem client and maybe they have a block, they're attached to this outcome or they're attached to some, you can do tapping right in the middle of the reading to take that out. So I hope that helps a lot of you budding or even readers, psychic advisors that have been doing this for decades. I hope that you got something out of that. So that's our topic for today. And before I do anything else, I'm going to check for some questions. Oh, and Dr. Rose had said it's best to ask them questions. That's what I learned in my coaching course. Absolutely. That's why I say take a life coaching course. Take some specialized ones too. There's relationship coach, success coach, law of attraction coach, general life coach. There's those sales on Udemy. You can take courses for $12, $18, $10, $20, $15. Take 5. Take an NLP course, take a EFT course, and put all these tools in your toolkit. I see Dog Star Tarot. Welcome. Hello, everyone. I'm new here. Welcome aboard. If you haven't joined the website yet, we have the new website, www.psychic.cafe. Yeah, it's not a .com, .org, .cc, .net. No, it's a .cafe. We were lucky enough to get that domain extension .cafe, and Psychic, for some unbelievable reason, was available. So we built this new website to be facing, client facing for the Tarot Guild. And you're able to, if you don't already have a website, you get your own profile and you can set up a mini website on our website. Just contact me. I'll tell you all the details. And by the way, it's free to sign up and register on the website, www.psychic.cafe. Go ahead and register. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, especially if you're a professional, You're going to want to hang out because we do a lot of shows where we're giving great information for new, or even, as I said before, people that have been doing this for decades. You'll hopefully learn something. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you're notified right away when we're going live with a show or a pre-recorded video. Yep. If you want to contact us in between shows, here's all of our links. Mine's at the top there, psychic.cafe/Dax. That's my profile. And these are all the hosts on the network. If you go to any of their pages, you'll see what I'm talking about how it's like having your own mini website on there. When you write a blog post or post videos or images or articles or whatever on the website, it goes into those main sections, with everybody else's on Psychic Cafe. But on your page, /Ellie/Rose/Pamela/Charlotte/Michelle, on your profile, you'll also see buttons for videos and photos and blog posts and stuff like that. And that's just your blog post. So you get your own separate blog that you can promote out, as well as everything else. And you can put buy buttons on there and so forth. Now, to get a custom URL like this, you need to join the Tarot Guild. And that's a nice segue into talking about that. First of all, I want to mention that we're having our annual sizzling summer sale. It goes on all summer, 20% off everything. Membership in the guild, our tarot course, our certification for professionals, booking readings. By the way, when I say readings, I'm also talking about business coaching sessions for your psychic advisor or tarot reading business. Remember, this is open to everybody: astrologers, numerologists, psychic mediums, you name it. And what you do is, on the payment page, when you are signing up for membership or getting certification or anything like that, you just put in summer 2025 where it says add coupon code. Just put the coupon code in, summer 2025. It'll automatically take 20% off. Make sure you click apply, of course. I think it's a green apply button. Click that and it will take 20% off. So what can you use this on? Well, you can join the guild, like I just said. Go over to psychic.cafe/guild. Let me grab the URL here. This is all explained on the post for the summer sale, psychic.cafe/summer. I'll put that in the chat. But if you go over to psychic.cafe/guild, it's going to tell you all the amazing benefits you get, including a custom URL to your profile. So it's your own mini website. You can even get a custom email address if you would like. Your name at psychic.cafe sounds really professional. And read about all the benefits you get. And then there's the join button there. That'll take you over to the payment page. Remember, look for the add coupon box. Just type in summer 2025 and you'll get 20% off. It's about the cost of a latte a month. It's $78 for the year. You'll get 20% off. Now, if you're already a member, you can go over to psychic.cafe/guild members, or go to groups on the website and look for the private group for guild members. So if you're already a member, you have access. Go in there, and one of the first posts, I think it's the second post, talks about certification, and there's a link there, square link. Click the square link, put in summer 2025, and you'll get 20% off certification, professional certification. Now, if you're not a member yet, a couple of things. One, on this page, psychic.cafe/certification, where you can read all about getting certified. Here, I'll put that in the chat too, certification. Down at the bottom, there's a link for a package deal that includes your membership and certification, and it's 25% off. But if you, on the payment page, put in that summer 2025, you'll get an additional 20% off. So that's 45% off membership and certification right now. Lastly, I'll mention my course, Tarot by the Numbers. You learn tarot and numerology side by side. It's a fully online course, self-paced. Go over to psychic.cafe/course. You can read about it. And when you enroll in my course, and of course, put in the coupon code summer 2025, you'll get 20% off. And not only that, you're going to get your membership in the Tarot Guild and your professional certification included free when you enroll in my course. So I'm going to pop that in the chat here. Course, psychic.cafe/course. Will you be available this weekend? Well, the weekend's almost over, Jimmy, but I'm available pretty much all the time, unless they're, unless I'm in the middle of building somebody's website. I do build websites for people. I do see clients for hypnosis, and for tarot reading, and business coaching for your psychic advisor / tarot reader business. We can definitely schedule some time. And I know Jimmy said he was going to be joining. Do you need the course, Jim? Because that's the best deal. It includes your membership and certification. But if you don't need the course, then go to that certification page and get the certification, professional certification plus membership in the guild, and put in that coupon code. You're going to get 45% off. But I always recommend that if you're new, take the course too, and your certification and membership is all included. Okay. And lastly, this had popped up earlier. If you want to grab us a cup of coffee, psychic.cafe. I'm going to put that in the chat. Put my little coffee cup. Guys, I need some coffee. I'm going to put that in. Psychic.cafe/coffee is our tip jar. If you want to send me a cup of coffee, send me some love. Send me some love. There we go. Okay. Let me see if there's any questions. All righty. Da, da, da. So Dog's Heart Tarot says, I'll have a look at it. Yeah, go look at our website. Oh, she says, fabulous. Hey, we'd love to have you a member of the Tarot Guild. Let me take this. I forgot to take the summer sale off because I'm staring. I didn't even look at the screen. I'm staring at the chat. So, because I'm looking for questions. If anybody has a question or wants a card pull or something like that. Otherwise, we're at the end of the show. It's 3 minutes till the top of the hour. So we're going to end the show here. But yeah, we'd love to have you join as a member, and we'll get you a custom URL to your profile. I help you set up your profile, the cover image, any calls to action you want to have on that. And then in your about section, you can put purchase buttons, purchase links, and I'll set that all up for you. Your profile image. I have templates for all that, for the cover art, the correct sizing and everything. And then you just send me the images, what you want to put on there, or I'll help you find things. And yeah, we completely help you set this all up. And it's like having your own mini website, especially if you're brand new, don't have your own website. Even if you do have your own website, it's good to, have a profile on Psychic Cafe. It's just spreading you out to more places. But, if you can't afford to have somebody like myself, I build websites for people. And if you can't afford that, you can afford me, because I don't charge $2,000 for a website. But, if you're looking out there and you're going, oh my God, $2,000, $1,500, $800 for a website. No, I don't charge that. I charge $99 a page, minimum 3, and it's $10 a month. It's $120 annually for hosting. So minimum of three. Sometimes, in fact, a lot of times I'm only doing one page uh, websites now. We put everything on one page because it's better for mobile. And if you do a consultation with me, I'll explain all of that. So it comes out to be, and if I have to get a URL for you, it's right around. I just did one for one of our local churches. It was $439. So it's a lot less expensive than most people charge if you want to get one from me. But even cheaper is, joining the guild, and you get your own mini website with videos and pictures and blog posts and articles, and your own status. What do they call that? Like your wall on Facebook. You get all that. So totally worth joining. I hope you'll join us. And Jimmy's going to join soon, I think, too. All righty. And Jimmy said, I had the question about book writing. Okay, so I missed your question. Did I miss anybody else's question? Because I was trying to follow the chat, but I really wasn't seeing a lot of like questions for reading. Or the other thing you can do is just say, can I have a message from the universe? Let's see. Looking through here. Oh, Jimmy was a respiratory therapist. Well, then you know. Um, Gosh, Jimmy, can you repeat it? Because I am going through the entire thing here, and I am just maybe it's because I'm bleary eyed. Oh, here it is. I found it. Question for the tarot. Let me see if I can copy that so I can keep it here. Copy. There we go. Gonna put it in the show notes. Uh-oh, that didn't work. Let's try this. Bear with me, folks, as I'm doing technical things. Gonna pop this in my notes. We'll get to this in a second, Jimmy. Oh, geez, it is still putting in that. It's doing a weird thing. I know what I'll do. I'll just repost it in chat at the bottom. There we go. So that way I've got your question. Advice on writing a book. I've already started, or maybe a different book subject. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Before we do that, real quick, because we're coming up on the end of the show, I want to let you guys know the shows that are coming up. So Michelle couldn't be here today. She's in chat though. But she will be back on Saturday, August 9th. So next weekend, not next weekend. Oh, I forgot to talk about this. Just realized we're at the end of the month. I'm so sorry, folks. Let me bring the calendar up here so I can speak accurately. All right. So we're at the end of the month. The next weekend is the 2nd and 3rd of August. We don't do shows on the first Saturday because I have a meeting. But we also have 5 Sundays this month. So we decided to take the first Sunday as well as the first Saturday off. So it's going to be 2 weeks from today is Saturday, August 9th. That's when we're doing our next live show. So we're taking a 2-week hiatus. That's good. I've got a lot of studying to do. A lot of errands, and I have a doctor visit coming up on Monday, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know. And so 2 weeks from yesterday, Saturday, August 9th, Michelle's Mystic Corner, she's going to be talking about the major versus the minor arcana cards. What are they? What is the structure of the tarot deck? And then that Sunday, August 10th, the next day, this is Dr. Rose's topic from a month ago that we never got to. Hey, Dr. Rose, you got to make it on Sunday, August 10th, because this is your topic. Has a tarot reading ever been wrong? And I just love that because it takes you down so many different paths. We're going to have so much fun with that. And then, because we're most of our shows, I don't want to say most of our shows, a lot of our shows are on hiatus during the summer. We're going into August here. So we're taking the first weekend off, and then we're only doing shows on Saturdays and Sundays. And the Angelic View is also, from the first and third Sundays, is also on hiatus. Because we only have a few shows, each weekend, each Saturday and Sunday, let me give you a couple more the following weekend after the 9th and 10th. So that's August 16th and 17th. So Saturday, August 16th, Michelle's Mystic Corner. Michelle is tackling the court cards. And I'll have something to say about that because I have my own unique take on the court cards that might be of use for folks. And then the next day, that Sunday, August 17th, how to get clients as a psychic, medium, or tarot reader. This was a topic we had to postpone from last month, and we're finally going to get to it Sunday, August 17th. Lots of tips and tricks, how to get clients as a psychic, medium, or tarot reader. There you go. So that's what's coming up on the network. Back to Jimmy's question about advice in writing a book. Okay. I'm going to take a look here. And I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to pull a card for, you said you're already writing a book, you've already started, or maybe a different subject. So that's like two different things. So we're going to do it that way. And I'm going to pull two qualifier cards for each of these cards that I am pulling. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. So this first one that you've already started, there's a delay. And I think obviously you already know that because you haven't finished the book, right? Four of Swords. Swords are thoughts and ideas, and that's what books are all about, right? And this is talking about a couple of different things. The Four of Swords is when we take a step back and think outside of the box. It's one of the thinking outside of the box cards. The recommendation here is on that subject, what you're already started, that you may need to rethink things, take a step back, reevaluate everything, take a break. So when you come back to it, you're fresh, right? And a couple other things. One is, following your passion, and the black cat is an indicator of independence, your own independent path about this. How do you make this subject your own? And if you're passionate about it, it's going to work. That's one of the qualifier cards. The other qualifier card is another thinking outside the box card. So there you go, Jimmy. You need to do a lot of thinking here. But specifically the Ace of Cups, we're in this idyllic garden. There's only one entrance. It leads out to a desolate space outside of the lush green garden with all the flowers and the greenery. And your goal is at the peak of this mountain. So you have to go traverse across the desolate desert and climb up to the summit of this mountain or hill to get to your goal. But it requires you stepping outside of the lush garden. Yes, all reaching goals, all success requires effort. And also, besides thinking outside the box, is getting out of your comfort zone. It's talking about getting outside of your comfort zone. Now, as far as another idea, this one seems to have to do more with the material. So I don't know what your topic is that you're already working on, but it may have something to do with money or career that you write on. And in this particular card, the Four of Pentacles. Four is structure. So it's talking about something you're able to have more structure than the other topic. And also holding on too tight. Maybe you're holding on too tight to some ideas. I'm not sure about that. But some other interesting things come up. Ace of Cups. You're going to have a new opportunity if you go with a different book subject or an additional one. I'm not saying necessarily not to do what you've already started, but maybe in addition to. However, once you do the trying to get outside of your comfort zone and the Four of Swords taking a step back, Jimmy, you may actually decide to look at a different book subject. And this is one you're going to be more emotionally satisfied by doing. Yes, the other one did have the Queen of Wands, something you're passionate about, obviously, or you wouldn't start writing a book on it, and telling you to stay independent, follow that passion. And I'm not saying not to do that, but this other topic seems to be more emotionally satisfying and a whole new opportunity with the Ace of Cups. Maybe you'll make more headway than you're making with the other one. And the last card was the Page of Wands. So we still have the fire energy with this. We still have following your passions, and that's what's going on with the page. It may require, with a page, I would say it might require more research, Jimmy, a lot of research. This might even be about travel. The pyramids back there and his traveling cloak and traveling, the wand is actually a staff, his traveling staff, and he's studying it, you see. This might have something to do with learning a foreign language. It may have to do with travel, especially foreign travel, for the writing of this book. Heck, the book could be about your travel. I don't know. But here's a lot of food for thought that we're getting in these cards. So I hope that helped you out, Jimmy. Awesome songs. And that's it. We're at the end of the show. We went a little over. I'm shocked. I thought the show was only going to be 35 minutes because I was by myself, but not too bad for not having done a solo show in many, 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 many months. So we'll be back next Saturday with Michelle's Mystic Corner, and I'll be back next Sunday. Bye, everybody, for now. Thanks for being here.